Hello and welcome back to my Let's Play channel. Recently we just finished doing a Let's Play of the demo for Thrall, and I was gonna do some streaming today on my Strack Blue channel of game development, and then I had an absolutely horrible weekend. So, we're doing something fun instead. Not that game development isn't fun, but I just really was not in the mood for it. So, today we're gonna be looking at a new game. It is a demo by Plexicrafts called Relics of Aurelia. I am part of Plexicrafts' Discord server. I think that it's a great community full of very talented and inspiring devs. It's a great place for really just getting to get some good feedback and be inspired, and it's just a good community. So this has come up a couple of times, and I have yet to really give it a fair shot. I think I played like 5 minutes one day, and I had too much going on. I didn't have enough time to really actually sit down and play it. I've seen a little bit here and there, but not anywhere close to enough to form anything even remotely close to an opinion of it. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're just gonna play with whatever's available. So first off, I'm just gonna read off the itch.io page. I will leave a link to this game in the description. So Relics of Aurelia is a non-linear JRPG where every boss you encounter has a unique weakness to exploit, but every piece of equipment you find is cursed. As a teenager transported from modern-day Tokyo to the ruined fantasy world of Aurelia, item descriptions of the mysterious relics you'll find won't tell you much besides this sword looks sharp or this shield is heavy. Okay, so it kind of sounds like an isekai RPG. That's kind of cool. Talking to local relic hunters, checking bookshelves, and inspecting helpful runestones may shed some light on what sorts of powers and curses each relic holds. Discover, identify, and equip different combinations of relics to overcome the unique environments and fascinating monsters standing between you and your way home. Or perhaps make new friends, uncover why the relics were cursed, and take an active stance in the struggle for the fate of Aurelia. Taking a look at some of the characters, I have absolutely no idea how much of the artwork is custom and how much is an asset that has been gathered from somewhere else. But here's the thing: my goal today is to be honest but fair. And I will say right off the bat is that the fact that okay, little bit of backstory. For those of you that have been following my Strack Blue channel from the beginning, which is probably not many, I did a Let's Play, or a Let's Try, I guess, of an RPG Maker once a while back that somebody sent me by request. I did not have a good time, and I was fairly critical and harsh about it. But the reason why I was so harsh, and the reason I was so critical, was simply because the game was being sold. And there was a lot about it that was stock. I'm not going to say the name of the game. It does not need any more publicity, good or bad. I'm not going to in any way try to... I don't want to... I'm not going to call anybody out, but I am far more critical of games that are sold, especially when they use stock assets or ripped assets, than I am over what is clearly a passion project. Relics of Aurelia is still in development. It's a demo. It's not being sold, from what I can see. If it one day does go commercial, then great. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But I've even talked about my thoughts on RPG Maker games being sold and what criteria I think a game should meet before it should ever actually have a price tag. I talked about that on my Strack Blue channel on quite literally the most popular video I've made on that channel to date. It's why RPG Maker games get a bad reputation. But because there's no price tag on this game, I'm probably not going to be anywhere near as harsh on things that I normally would be. My goal is to be honest and fair, so not paying so much attention to the assets used or anything like that, because I know games in development, a lot of that stuff's placeholder. Assets in my own game are placeholder. and I'm going to spend more time focusing on how the core mechanics and systems actually work together, the quality of the writing, and the amount of effort that's gone into this. And seeing a little bit about how Plexicraft interacts with his Discord server and the community there, I have no doubt that's going to show through in this, but I am going in blind. I don't really know what I'm getting myself into. Everything I'm seeing looks pretty good. You know, I am seeing what looks like a fair amount of stock assets, but that's not a bad thing. You know, there's nothing wrong with using the RTP, and I actually have no idea what RPG Maker this is made in. It looks like it might be MZ, maybe MV, I don't actually know. Credit to MV Layer Graphics, so I'm assuming RPG Maker MV. Although that's not a given now, actually. There is a, there was an announcement, I think earlier this year or last year, that you don't need to own the copy of RPG Maker to use assets from different runtime packages, so not a given. But we will see what this is all about. So, I have had you staring at a title screen for long enough. I am... Yeah, you know what? I'm not in any way dissuaded or disappointed by what I'm seeing on the itch page. You know, this looks like it's got some promise and potential. I feel like I can see some really cool things that are being done with some shading on the maps, which is really nice. I don't know if that's just an overlay or actually the map detailing itself. We'll find out, I guess. It looks like there's a fair bit of depth to the character development and the world development, and it sounds like a unique concept, so we will give this a try. So, with that, let's get started. Oh, first thing I'm noticing right off the bat, there's an options menu on the main page that I don't know if that's normal or not. I'm very familiar with RPG Maker VX and not other RPG Makers, so I don't know if this is standard. Let's take a look. Always dash. Always want to have that on. Command remember. Okay, this looks like it might be custom? I actually have no idea. Command remember. I'll leave that off just because I'm not entirely sure what that's referring to. Keyboard config. Ah. Okay, I like the fact that you can fully configure the keyboard. That's really nice. And this is actually quite clean. You know, this does show quite clearly what each thing does, for the most part. For the most part. The X being X, I think, could say X is back or deselect or something, but that might just be me. But no, this looks alright. Okay, I think the volume settings are fine. We'll see. Quick note again, just about the title screen. This looks custom. And you know what? I would rather see something like this that is custom, maybe done in GIMP or Photoshop, maybe even just the base is done in Paint and then there was some editing done. You know, it's not super high fidelity, incredibly detailed, like, you know, award-winning art, but it's, to me, this has a lot of charm to it. And this is very clearly, what I would say is that looking at this looks custom, this looks original, and I would much rather see that rather than some, you know, thing that was ripped off a resource site or a Parallax or some AI generated something. So, liking that. Other thing I'm noticing right off the bat is the music. I don't recognize it. That does not mean it's original, but I don't recognize it. So, you know, that's also an improvement over some of the, oh gosh, some of the games that I've seen that are, you start to recognize. Yeah. When you see Kevin MacLeod in the credits of just about any RPG Maker game, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I know what to expect. Not that it's bad music, but can be overused quite a bit. So yeah, so far, already a decent first impression. So let's start a new game, see what we're getting into. I'm pressing F4 will allow you to play full screen at 4:3 ratio, so you can save your game at any time from the menu as long as you're not in battle. Okay. Default controls are pictured above. You can play with a controller, mouse, keyboard, or even just a mouse alone. Keybinds can be changed at any time in the options menu. I don't know if it's necessary to have that right at the start. Bury them beneath the earth, soot and snow, lest they be found and dawned by fools. Scattered to peaks and swamps below, to daunting heights and deeper pools. If champions fell in grief and woe, clad in gifts once bountiful, what can be done for a desperate soul that wields them for their promised glow? Bury them neath dirt, soot, and snow. Excerpts from the relish... from the relish, not mustard. Excerpts from the relics... Excerpt from the Relics Admonishment, 17 AOR. Not entirely sure what that means, but okay. Already a lot better than a massive lore dump right at the start. Just wall of text. Simple, clean, pithy, and now right into something that's action and fast-paced. This is a good start. This is a strong start. I can't believe... Sorry, excuse me. I can't believe I've allowed you to fall this deeply into madness. Artur? Artir? I don't know what voice to give this guy. Artur. I didn't know. That's not gonna work. Okay, let's try that one more time. Artur, you of all people knew it would eventually come to this. I'm pleading with you, Renault. You cannot sacrifice an entire village to those things. You speak. Nope, we're not gonna do that. That does not work. I cannot keep that voice up. You speak of sacrifice as if you had ever felt the torment of the void. I've always shielded you from that realm, and those that inhabit it. I did my best to heal you. I studied restoration techniques for nights on end. For what? All it did was encourage you to go back for more, and return with less. There's too little left of you. Oh, there's too little of you left. I can't save what you've become. I've gone without the impotent arts that you call holy magic for quite some time. I'm in no need of your salvation. I will cut through you if I must. You've spent days trying already. I will not relent. I thought as much. You've given me no choice but to call forth a vile wave here and now. Renault, that kind of magic could end us all. I will not stand idly by and allow my kingdom to sink to oblivion like the rest of these monster-infested lands. Your apathy will be your end. Oh, excuse me. Ah. Yes, I can't wait to get home and play this. Midnight releases are the best. Even if I only store doing one thing for... Even if the only store doing one for a niche game like Monster Quest Awakenings all the way across the city. Should I play as a mage and blast monsters from a safe distance? Or as a thief that can gain extra loot after each encounter? Maybe I'll go with a warrior and just use the same spinning attack for every fight. I can only fit a few more energy drinks in the pockets of my school uniform. A few more? Five? How big are those pockets? 5 left to do. All-nighter, here I come. Ooh. I'm getting ReZero vibes. Oh, my head. What happened? I can't even remember my name. Okay. We'll go with the default. How do I... There we go. Okay. That's right. But where am I? This can't be the Shibuya Crossing. What is this place? And why are my clothes so heavy? Okay, and we have control of the character. Okay. Initial thoughts on the intro sequence. So the encounter between the two, what seemed like a mage type versus a swordsman type, maybe a little cliche. It looks on the surface like one is very clearly like a paragon of righteousness and justice, while another is like an evil overlord, but that may have just been my initial first impression. I could be getting that totally wrong, so I'm not going to judge with that too harshly. Plus, I mean, there's not anything wrong with that either. I like that there wasn't a massive exposition dump of, you know, a 10-minute conversation of the entire backstory of the kingdom, how they got into that fight, and what each of them are really fighting for. It was more just surface level conversations that they would actually be having, given the context of that they know about each other. So that's good. Leaves me wanting to find out what's actually happening. And you know, how that whole situation developed. Can I pause? Yes, I can. Otaku class. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. I dig it. That's fine. Where was I? Yeah. No. Didn't overstay its welcome. The transition to the present day Tokyo with this character, I think, was a little jarring. Maybe there could have been a bit of a smoother transition into that. It felt very bombastic, jumping right into the heart of Shibuya, and maybe that's intentional. I don't really know what you can do for something like an establishing shot in this kind of game, but I feel like that would have been something of a benefit. Even like a yeah, I really don't know. I can't think of an exact example, but going from that high energy fight scene to you're now in modern day Tokyo was a little bit of whiplash. And if I hadn't read the game's description ahead of time to know that that's what we're about, I would have been completely lost. And probably very confused. So I don't know. I don't know if there's anything that can be done with that transition. It might honestly just be fine the way it is. But I don't know. Little quick, little fast on that transition. But yeah, I don't necessarily want to say that that's a good thing or a bad thing. It was just a little bit of whiplash there. Okay, let's see what we've got here. So Aurum, I'm assuming, is currency. Makoto is our main character. I like that it can be a self-named protagonist. That's nice. I think it's hilarious that the class is otaku. Okay, see, I was kind of hoping that because we were gonna... We had filled our pockets with 5 energy drinks, which I think is hilarious, that we would start with some items in our inventory in the form of, like, potions or something, and, like, the energy drinks that we stuffed in our pockets, like, converted to potions, and it's like, oh, this thing came with me, and it actually has a weird power in this world or something, but not a huge problem. Think of home. Take some real focus to get the image clear in your mind, but when you do, you feel reinvigorated. Okay. Can't use it, but I'm assuming it's like a healing ability, maybe? Okay, interesting. Randomize. Randomize equipment? And then clear. Interesting. Okay, interesting. I don't know if I like that, but considering the premise of this game, Okay. Doesn't seem like the most elegant weapon, but a ball of iron you can swing around is at least something. Okay, yeah. Hunk of waterlogged wood. Holding it in front of you makes you feel safe. Is waterlogged the right word there? A driftwood shield, I guess. Yeah. I mean, driftwood doesn't necessarily have to be waterlogged, but it can be. I mean, that would be heavy as heck. It does not lower our agility, but okay, yeah. Not bad. It doesn't provide a defense, it keeps the sun out of your eyes, okay. Mostly leather with some bulky iron bits, yep. Okay. Okay, so we got some starting gear. Same options menu. I'm just going to save right now. Okay. Can't interact with anything, so let's just leave this cave. Ooh, okay. No way. This looks just like the worlds in my games. But I can feel the sun shining. I can smell the smoke from that nearby campfire. It's all so real. The air is crisp, like it's tinged with magic. My school uniform, it's now armor. See, that to me is like, okay, if your clothing can convert to something and that's useful in this world, what about those energy drinks? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. All I ever wanted was to go on an actual adventure in a fantasy world, and now that I'm here... Wait, I have to find my way home. Or do I? I should at least take a look around. This does give me some ReZero vibes. I actually don't know if Plexi's seen ReZero. Probably... Let's see. The Rusty Ring increases your evasion substantially, but removes 25% of your HP over time until you have only 1 HP. 25% of your HP over time? As in, like, every turn? Every round of combat? I don't know what over time means yet, but I also haven't been in battle, so I don't know for sure. But okay, knowing what I know just from reading the description, this is kind of cool. Is that you can find information about things that you'll find in the world just by exploring and reading things. This is actually like, okay, this gives me an incentive to actually interact with everything. That's kind of cool. I don't mind that, actually. Rather than just having things explained to you, it's like you actually have to search things out. But the only hope that I have is that things that are critical for progressing the story are sort of drip-fed. I really don't want to have to explore and find like the one corner of the world that shows me where to go next. I don't think this game will do that, but that's the only hope that I have. I like this idea of providing information about non-critical things, but things that are still useful, just scattered throughout the world. I hope that there's nothing like this for actual story progression. Quickly scroll a note of what you learned. Oh, nice! Okay, that's nice. Wow, I'm glad I wrote that down. The words that were carved into the tablet seem to have sunken back into the stone itself. I should probably try to gather as much information as possible if I'm going to figure out how this world works. So, there we go. Oh, okay, that is a very nice touch. And that's such a simple way to do that, too. It doesn't require any, like, fancy, complicated scripts. You literally just create an item, make it a key item, sort it into this item category, and make the description whatever was written down. You don't have to, like, come up with an entire script for keeping track of all the notes you've made. You literally just make it an item in the database and give the player that item when they interact with that thing. That's a very clean and simple way of doing that. I like that. And now I don't ever have to worry about writing this down or remembering it myself because I've got it. And what I like about this as well is I don't have to have found the item to find the note explaining what it does. You know, that's one thing that really irritates me is when it's like, oh, you found this, tablet, but the text is illegible, and then you find this rusty ring, and then, oh, now if you want to find out what the rusty ring is, you go back to that tablet, and now suddenly it has that text, but you didn't know that the first time, so you don't know to go back to it, and, like, I like the fact that I don't even have the rusty ring, but I have the notes saying what it does, so I don't ever have to come back here for that. Very clean. Very clean. I like that. But yeah, I am getting some ReZero vibes from this. The main character kind of reminds me a little bit of Subaru, and the premise is very much isekai themed. And if you've never seen ReZero, watch it. It's not just one of the best isekais I've ever seen, and I've seen more than enough. It is one of the best anime I've ever seen. Isekai or not, I don't care about the genre of anime. It is one of the best anime. It's not just an isekai, it's a psychological thriller of the, like, absolute pinnacle quality. Like, top-tier anime. Alright, let's chat with these people. I'm trying to throw this junior adventurer the ropes. He doesn't have much experience with relics. Do you? No, I don't. Relics are powerful pieces of equipment that the champions of Aurelia used to keep monsters at bay ages ago. If you're finding them, be careful. The relics are all cursed. Each one comes with unique drawbacks. Excuse me. Sometimes the power of the relic is worth it, though. Think of it this way. If I need to overcome a monster blocking my path, the first thing I do is make sure I know at least something about that monster. Once I know what its strengths or weaknesses are, I can check what I know about my relics to see if I have one I can use to make the fight easier, especially when a relic's particular drawbacks won't matter. For example, my relic Great Hammer packs a wallop but lowers my magic defense when I use it, so I only equip it when I'm planning to fight monsters that I know won't cast magical spells. Smart, right? Yes, if the drawbacks are actually punishing enough that you do need to keep track of it. If it's only like a 5% reduction in magic defense, or even like a 50% reduction in magic defense, but that actually only equates to like 10 more damage per hit, that's not a huge drawback. So if the drawbacks are actually punishing, and if the rewards are actually worth it, that is a very neat system, and I'm very happy to and eager and excited to try it out. I'm talking a bit too much though, let's keep going. Aurelia sure is a beautiful but dangerous place. Monsters roam the lands, but they're no match for us adventurers, right? Just to be safe, you better take a few of these. Anytime I'm feeling out of sorts, I just gulp down one of these potions, then I'm right as rain. He hands you a few flasks, each containing a swirling blue liquid. You see 3 potions. Okay, so this would be kind of cool if, when we first get sent into this world, those energy drinks that we bought from that vending machine convert to these potions. It doesn't have to be 5 energy drinks, it could be 3, and then we get 3 potions. And then this guy, when we come out and chat with him, says like, oh hey, I see you've got some potions in there. And then Makoto could have a little self-dialogue being like, wait a second, I thought these were the energy drinks I bought. Oh cool, these must have turned into potions. And then, you know, it's the same end result, and this guy kind of explains a little bit more about how the things that came from the real world are now integrated with this world in their own unique way. That's just the first thing that comes to my mind with that interaction. I like the idea that we do get some starting healing items, but it would be cool to see a slightly different implementation of that. Just personally. Nothing wrong with this implementation, I think it's fine. That's just how I would personally think about it. I knew she wasn't gonna let me just walk past. You don't look like you're from around here. She's cute. That obvious, huh? Don't take this the wrong way, but that's not exactly how you hold a flail weapon. You need to tighten your grip. Swing with your arm, not your wrist. My name is Rel, by the way, in case you'd like to personally thank me later. Oh, it's good to meet you, Rel. Wait a minute. So they hold it in all the RPGs I've played. RPGs? I don't think I grew up playing that. Yeah, I think we may have had different upbringings. What is that supposed to mean? Oh, I didn't mean anything bad by it. It just seems like you kind of know what you're doing out here is all. I'm a bit new to all of this. It's perfectly understandable. Many are drawn to Aurelia from distant lands. If you're ever feeling lost, you can try searching out and reading the inscriptions on the black and white stone tablets that can be found all over Aurelia. No one knows where they came from, but the white tablets provide information about the great monsters. The black tablets provide the powers and curses of the ancient relics. Okay, nice. I like that it's kind of sorted and organized in that way. Great monsters and ancient relics. Maybe those tablets could help me find my way home, or at least help me get my bearings and to head in the right direction. Thanks, Rel. I just had one more question about these relics. Wait a minute. Wait. Okay, I'm glad that wasn't an error. She actually did disappear. Wait, where'd you head off to? Okay, so he was... Okay. For a second I thought something went wrong there, but nope, that was intentional. I feel like we're going to see her again, because... Oh, wait, what? Okay, yeah, neither of these characters have... I have a C-rank adventure license, so I invited a B-rank adventurer to assist me on my monster hunts. She can look up some relics I wouldn't dare use myself. I'll let her take the lead while I take notes on how she deals with different monsters. Found that it's a good idea to jot down a note and put it in the key item part of my inventory every time I learn something important. It's nice to be able to read through and strategize when planning out my next adventure. Kind of reminds me, it gives me a bit of solo leveling vibes, actually, with the whole B-rank, C-rank thing. Yeah, neither of these NPCs have a face sprite, but that one did. I get the feeling we're going to be seeing her again. I suspect she may be a party member. Is this thing going to chase me? Nope. So I can sidestep it if I want, but I don't want. Okay. Yeah, let's just see what we can do. Attack. Okay. Not taking a ton of damage, and we can one-shot these things. Alright, that's good. If we were struggling in the first encounter, then that would be a problem. But this is good. Rusty Sliver. A rusty sliver. Looks like one's a piece of something greater. Drop by cave at... Oh, okay. Maybe a crafting item? Maybe just stuff we can sell? Who are you? Oh, this guy... Where have I seen that face? Probably on the itch page. Hey, bud, the name's Louis. I was gonna say Louise. That's wrong. Louise would have any... Hey, bud, the name's Louis. Seems like you caught me in a bit of a spot. Need to come up with 300 ORM by sundown. I've been saving up for months, but I'm still short 300 ORM for my adventurer's license. If I miss this deadline, I'll have to wait another year to apply. Any chance you could spare the difference? Sorry, I don't really know what ORM is. I'm guessing it's some sort of currency. You're not from around here. Where'd you sail in from? Never mind that, but yes, your guess is quite right. In Aurelia, we use ORM as a method of payment. You can earn ORM doing odd jobs or commissions, but monsters also tend to drop a few pieces of it once defeated. My brothers are all high-ranking adventurers, so they put my monster slaying ability to shame. I'm doing what I can, but by my best estimate, I'll be short around 300 ORM by the time I need to pay the fee. Spare 300 ORM to help me out? I will say yes, but I don't think I have it. Love your enthusiasm, but if that's all it took, I'd have my adventurer's license by now. Yeah, I only have 17. Okay, so... Well, I started with 0, and I have 17. It probably wouldn't take that long to grind it up, assuming the enemies respawn. Please move. Thank you. Barbarian grabs slightly low as your hit rating, but grants a magical skill that allows you to attack 2 times per turn. Okay, cool. Does that override your default attack, or does it... a new magical ability? So I'm guessing like a skill. I won't be able to hit the monsters as easily. I can't believe I could actually use magic. I wonder if it's the kind of like how when I really concentrate, I can make myself feel healthier when I think of home. That must be. That's got to be a healing skill. Okay, so you know what? I'm seeing some unique concepts. I'm seeing a lot that is a little bit standard and typical for some RPG Maker games, but again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just is what it is. And the game is still in development, so I'm really not going to judge it too harshly for that. Okay, there's got to be some way to get to that thing. I'm guessing the long way around. First, let's face this thing. That looks like a white tablet, so we'll see if we can interact with that once we're done this encounter. I'm hoping the volume isn't too loud. It's a little loud in my ear, but that might just be because my headphones are a little loud right now. Fire brush only casts magical attacks, brushing any magical flames through the air with its many tails. Fire brush. Maybe this is one of those monsters that Rel was talking about. Okay. I'll chat with you in a second. There we go. A flask of swirling blue liquid. A potion. Okay, cool. I don't know if the whole... Oh, shoot! What did I just do? What am I doing? No, get away! Get away! What did I do? An abomination of some creature limbs around the field. These appendages appear to be from a different monster entirely... But despite this, is different scales, feathers, and height seem impenetrable. Yeah, this looks tough. I just wanted to see if I could get past it to get that chest, but I get the feeling that's like a boss. I'm just glad it let me escape and didn't punish me for making a really stupid mistake. Oh, you know what? I'm just noticing that the flail actually appears in your hand when you attack, so that's kind of cool. I don't know if that's, again, I haven't really worked with MV very much. I don't know how much of this is stock or standard and how much is custom. But you know what? It looks... Okay, hold on. I'm a scout, but I'm studying relics to become an adventurer. I've learned that relics often lower some stats while boosting others. Some relics even grant a new magical skill while the relic is equipped. Defense helps to boost physical attack damage, and magic defense helps to prevent magic damage. Magic damage will never miss, but... Magic damage will never miss. Nice. But hit rating and evasion will determine if physical attack damage will connect. It's a lot to keep in the old noggin, but I love researching this sort of thing. As my studies taught me, anything is the need to use the right combination of relics for the right situations. Okay. Starting to feel a little bit lore dumpy and exposition dumpy right now. But I also suspect this is sort of a tutorial area, so it's kind of meant for that. Don't get caught out here with a flask or two of Violet Focus. It will refill your MP in one chug. Plus, it doesn't hurt that it tastes like gourmet coffee. Flask of purple liquid, it's bubbling as if from excitement. Violet Focus. Okay, cool. So, like this game's version of an ether. Combat seems fairly straightforward so far, which is not a bad thing. Glass Shield lowers physical defense, but heals 10% of your HP every turn in battle and while you walk. The "and while you walk" thing can be abused very easily if it's all overworld touch encounters. If it was random encounters, that would be a lot harder to abuse. But overworld touch encounters... it's very easy to just walk around and top things up. But that, you know what, that would synergize nicely with that ring that drains your health slowly over time, but grants something else that was really good. Okay, so this one allows you to regain health over time. Physical attacks hurt more. Then again, magical attacks won't. It's getting pretty complex. Because what was it, the ring? Yeah, increases your evasion substantially, but removes health over time. But with the shield, then it, you know, offsets that a bit. Okay. I can see where there's some strategies with this. I like how the equipment is not just a basic stat upgrade. Like, there's actually, you know, you do have to strategize and plan around what you use, try to synergize certain things, and come up with your own unique loadout. It's good to see another adventure out in the field. Are you out on commission or just slaying monsters for the essence? An adventure worth the salt knows that slain monsters will often yield monster essence. But if you're truly lucky, you may find a shard of relic instead. Different monsters are drawn to specific relic pieces, so it's worth it to focus your hunts once you know which monsters are likely to be holding what you're after. Be on the lookout because here there's a smithy north of here in Gulant Village who can dampen the effects of a relic's curse if you bring her the right recipe ingredients. So is that what this is? Okay. Okay. So yeah, sounds like a crafting item, not a bad thing. I'm seeing a lot of potential. The idea that you can have equipment that, you know, has some... These matches pretty more down. Like, you can find equipment that, you know, has downsides that you need to plan around. That looks like rail. But could potentially... Are we gonna get slaughtered here? Maybe. Okay, no, we're alright. Golden coins, 42 arm. I don't know if the entire message with opening the chest is necessary. But considering so far all I found is gold and a potion, maybe it is. Maybe it's, you know, it does create a little bit of suspense if you find, like, a relic or something really, really good. but I don't know if the suspense for that is necessary, or if you can just kind of have that from the opening of the chest itself. Okay, there's a place we can go here. St. Lucan's Farmstead. I wonder if I could take a break here. Let's stop here before we... Okay, yeah, this is just a simple map. Covering the cross reads, "Here lies Gil, the sweetest man I've ever known." Yeah, this looks like a good pit stop. Sun-bleached straw hat. Okay, yeah, see... I think I'll leave it here, though. I have a feeling means more to LeCount than it ever could to me. I get the feeling we're going to be back for that. I get the feeling that's a relic. Farm life ain't so bad. Grandpappy used to go on about how mages could water an entire field with magic, but this well works for me. We don't get many visitors around these parts, but you can do your laundry and rest up at my cottage if you like. Note above the chest states, "Please take any trinkets you would like from this chest, but leave what you don't need for others so they too may benefit." Just nearly empty contains a small metal ring. A rusty ring. Its metal only fits in your pig fish because it's been in a rucksack for now. Okay. Now, okay, so there was a bit of dialogue there where he said the rusty ring sounds familiar. I wonder if he would have said that if we hadn't found this first. I wonder what would happen if we found the ring and then went to go get this note. I wonder if that would change the dialogue. Raises evasion but drains health. Health is at a bit of a premium, so we're not gonna... Okay, so yeah, that is a... You know what? I like that that's a healing spell that actually costs a significant chunk of MP. Because it's like, great, it's like a potion that you refill, in that sense. At least at this point. It's like, okay... I'm thinking like an essence flask from Dark Souls. Essence? Estus? Whatever it's called. Like, I just have a potion that I get 3 uses that I can refill when I replenish my MP. Like, that's how I'm viewing that. That's a good skill. It's not something that's like, oh, it costs 5 MP and you can just spam the heck out of it. No, it's... You know, it costs a third of what you currently have. Rest. Yeah, let's do it. Top up our MP. Okay, I like that that didn't take 45 seconds. Okay. Okay, I haven't chatted with this guy. Hey bud, my party's up ahead bringing down a monster we heard is wreaking havoc north of here. You may want to stand back, you don't seem very well equipped. Is that a piece of driftwood you got there? Oh, that's your shield. Gotcha. Maybe look around for some equipment. We should be done at speed by the time it finds better loot. Kind of figured it would be, yeah, you can't go this way yet. How much ore do I have? 164. Did I just... it doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, let's take a quick second to pause here. Because, yeah, I've been kind of, like, playing the game while trying to collect my thoughts. I just want to do just an initial overview of the first impression. I think there's a ton of potential with this concept. I think the idea of finding equipment that has unique traits, that it's not just a benefit, but also a downgrade, and trying to balance risk versus reward, but in a way that you can sort of compare and contrast different loot to synergize different abilities, that's unique. I haven't seen that a lot, and I think that would be... I think there's a lot of potential just within that one concept alone. So let's talk about execution. How effectively is this implemented up to this point? Well, we haven't found many relics, so I can't really gauge the overall system just yet, and I've been talking a lot, so this is not... It probably doesn't take nearly as long to get through this opening sequence as what I'm taking to get through it, because I am kind of reflecting and offering some insight as I go along. But you know what? It is far from being the worst introductory sequence I've seen to an RPG Maker game. Far from that. So far, any sort of lore or exposition has been optional. We've been able to walk past all these NPCs if we don't want to talk to them. Nothing's being forced down our throat. We're already getting a taste of what this system can do. We're already getting an idea of just how certain game concepts work together. I'm already getting a sense for the amount of effort and thought that's been put into some of the mechanics themselves. Like, for example, these key items, keeping notes. I love this, honestly. This is a very, very effective way of keeping track of this kind of stuff. I'm very, very impressed with that. I'm noticing it might just be because there's too many characters, but the font sizes are a little bit different in these things. I think this just has too many letters, so it's kind of squishing it. But there seems to be some inconsistencies in font sizes here, and I can't say I know why. That might just be an RPG Maker MV thing. It's jumping out at me right now. I'm noticing that. But no, I think the systems have potential. It's a little cliche so far, but I can definitely see some inspirations. And I can't say that it's executed poorly. I think it's executed acceptably well. It's not outstanding, but it's not bad either. I'm not disliking this so far. What I'm also liking about this is that I can tell from the nature of these systems, this is going to be easy to learn. One thing that drives me nuts is when I go into a game and I open the menu and the first thing I see is 15 different menu options, 5 of which open different types of crafting menus or systems that I have no idea what they do or how to engage with them, and I'm not given any explanation as to what they do, and I'm expected to know. This is simple. I have items, skills, equipment, options, save, game end. Great. Perfect. Everything you need in a starting RPG. Combat is streamlined and straightforward. We have no skills right now, so we just attack. We just get used to the actual system itself. We get to know, okay, it's turn-based, it's not ATB, it's not real-time, there's no weird gimmicks that we can see right off the bat, so really no tutorial required. It's about as straightforward as it gets. And the system that I think is getting the most attention in this game, the system with the relics, we're getting information fed to us at an acceptable pace in a way that we're not being told everything we need to know all at once, but we're learning about it as we go. And what I like about this is I can see there's going to be a lot of complexity. Oh, excuse me. I can see there could potentially be a lot of complexity to this battle system. If these relics offer like different skills that we can use as well, not just stat buffs, then I could see that creating a lot of complexity and a lot of different playstyles. But what I like about that is we don't start with 50 relics and we have to figure out what we want to do. We start with none, and then it's like, okay, here's one. Okay, here's another one. Like, I'm hoping we get kind of spoon-fed and drip-fed more and more relics to the point where we can get to know what each one does without getting overwhelmed by it. And I think that's a good natural learning curve and progression curve without even needing a tutorial. So that is, I would say, good execution. Mapping. I can't really say much, honestly. It's tile-based, I can tell that. That's fine. That's, again, standard for RPG Maker. Nothing to write home about, but also not boring to look at. It's not, yeah, it's not top tier, it's definitely not bottom tier. C+. I hope that's fair. Music seems to be fitting. I can't necessarily say I like it, but that's personal preference doesn't mean it's good or bad. The music fits. and it seems consistent, which is more important than anything else, I would say. Characters and writing, so far we haven't really seen enough to really weigh in or judge, but no complaints so far. So that's, yeah. We're not being told to care about a character that we know nothing about. We're instead kind of being introduced to characters as we go, and knowing full well that, like, okay, we're an outsider to this world, we're not going to know anything going in, this character is not going to know anything going in, so as this character learns things, so will we. So there's a bit of, like, that's actually a fairly effective way to feed the player information and lore, is the actual character you're playing as doesn't know anything, and there's a valid and legitimate reason as to why. So, yeah. All things considered, first impression, I wouldn't stop playing. You know, if it wasn't, like, if I wasn't recording this, if I wasn't just playing this because it's somebody I know, if I just downloaded this on a whim randomly and started playing, I would keep playing. I would not lose interest. So this is a good start and a good first impression. I'm probably not going to play a ton right now. I mostly just kind of wanted to play something to cap off the weekend, because it's been rough. But we're gonna, yeah, we'll carry on a little bit, see if we can find like a natural stopping point and a natural break point, and then we'll probably close it off there. But let's keep going. I think that's Rel, so let's see if we can chat with her. It is. Stalking me now. I mean, there's like one cave in this area. Two, actually. Remember the first one you recently stumbled out of? So you saw that. Great, I was hoping no one noticed. Actually, how did you get here so quickly? I think the simplest answer is that I'm faster than you are. You're not one of those guys who gets upset losing to a girl, right? I wouldn't say I'm a sore loser. Just a regular one. I mean, that's good to know. Okay. She's gone. Would have been nice if I had started with some more charisma in this new world. Oh yeah, I was supposed to ask her about the relics. Ah, well, something tells me I haven't seen the last of her. You know what, the writing does feel, it doesn't feel forced. You know, it doesn't feel, unnatural. Like, there's clearly some personality to these characters. You know, the Rel is obviously a little more independent and aloof. Makoto's a little bit, I don't know if hyper is the right word, but, 2 potions, nice. He's a bit more, carefree, let's say. And, I mean, excited to be in a new world. Who wouldn't be? And maybe a little bit absent-minded. You know, not everybody's it's not like every character has the same personality kind of thing. And the way that the dialogue reads out is, it feels kind of like how somebody would naturally talk. So that's good. Had a feeling this was a dead end. But I like the fact that at the dead end there's actually a chest, and it's not just a waste of time. So we'll get through this cave. If we end up getting 300 Aurum, we may backtrack to talk to that guy that we met. We've got 245. We're pretty close, honestly. An ancient tome. A recipe book for a cracked locket. I don't think we have. There it is. Doesn't say what the recipe is, but I'm sure we can take it to a crafting place and they'll be able to tell us. So yeah, if we get enough Aurum, we'll probably actually backtrack and then talk to that guy, and then we'll finish up with this cave. I don't know how long it is. Oh, it's not very far. Do these crystals do anything? No. Okay. I mean, maybe that's the whole point, is just to get in a forum to talk to that guy. I'm actually not really sure what we're supposed to be doing right now, but that's the most clear objective I can see, is let's go talk to the guy. A glass shield. Okay, what was the glass shield again? That, lowers physical defense but heals HP in battle and while walking. Okay, so let's try that. Let's get into this battle. Because here's my thought. Yeah, I don't want to take more damage right now. But okay, we just finished the battle, and we have 368. Yeah, 368. Okay. That is a significant drop. Okay, so that's actually nice. The fact that the curses are actually potent enough to have to plan around, like, yeah, this hurts. I don't want to lose that much defense. So this is probably not something I actually want to take into battle. But if I equip it, if it does actually heal me while I walk... Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like that's a little easy to abuse. It would be interesting if it was like, while you're holding this shield, enemies may attack you at random, and it actually turns on random encounters. That may offset the overpoweredness of this shield. But like, this is something where it's just like, why would I ever take this out of my inventory? Like, there we go. And now I've got my shield back, and I can just, I think I keep bumping the microphone, I'm not trying to, so I apologize if that's peaking at certain points. It's like, yeah, this is an item that I would basically want to take everywhere I go all the time, because I can literally just keep it equipped when I need to heal up and not have to worry about using my healing abilities or potions. I just heal up in between every battle. As long as I have enough health to survive any given battle, it's a little tedious switching back and forth, and I could see where that would be a pain. So that's maybe a little overpowered, but maybe not? I don't know. Really hate to ask, but if I miss this deadline, I'll have to wait another year to apply. Yes. Really? I definitely owe you one. For now, take these. They're pieces of relics dropped by monsters. I nabbed the glass shard off of a sand rat over in the Sandblast Ogriff outpost. The brittle handle came courtesy of an orc miner that stepped too far out of his mine. I've heard higher-ranked adventurers talking about using pieces like these to improve their relics somehow, but that's not something I'm too familiar with. Okay. I know it's not much, but if you're heading north, meet me in the desert town of Anzant. I'll buy you a drink and we'll celebrate together. That has been out hunting down monsters with my new adventurer's license. Oh, I didn't know people would take something like adventuring so seriously, but he seems to know his stuff. And if what he says is true, monsters don't just drop money, but also crafting supplies. It's weird, but I can kind of feel how stats work here, but grinding monsters doesn't seem to help increase my potential, which I actually really like. That is nice. Wait a minute. If I were to think of my situation as a sort of level 1 challenger, I need to make sure that I make the most of the gear and items I find. I don't need XP to make it home. If I can find and equip the right gear for each obstacle, I know I'll come out on top. Okay, I'm noticing something though. There's no status screen. I actually don't know if I've been gaining XP, but I have a level. Can I level up? And if I do, is there any benefit to that? And if there isn't, is there a need or a reason to have the level display there? I don't know yet, because I haven't played enough to find out, but if leveling up actually doesn't do anything, or isn't even possible, that level may not be necessary to actually have there. Unless... something that I could see being kind of cool is having like a level requirement to equip certain relics. where it's like, oh, you found this divine greatsword or whatever, where it's like a really high, powerful relic, but you can't equip it until you're level 10. Something like that. I don't know, just spitballing, but I don't know. I guess we'll find out as we play some more. But I don't really know what to do now. Is this guy still here? Yeah, okay. That's not the same person. That's the nine-tailed fox. That's, I don't feel like taking on Naruto right now. Oh! Oh, okay, no, that thing actually went. For a second I thought that was a random encounter. It was not. It was not. Okay, this is probably a stupid idea. Fight me! That didn't do much damage, but we did absolutely nothing to it. So yeah, we'll give up there. I wanted to see. I just wanted to try. I had a feeling we would get immediately slaughtered or just, yeah, but okay, worth a try. Okay. No, stop it. Okay. Ah! There we go. Graceful Beast patrols the path in front of you. You can see flames follow the movements of its many tails as it saunters around the area. You think you could pass without it You don't think you could pass it without it noticing. Oh, I'm just gonna fight it now. Okay, is this a boss? Am I gonna get slaughtered by this thing? Chaotic Embers. Ah! Okay, this thing hits harder, but at least we do damage to it. Okay. I have an idea. First off, let's just heal up. Okay, so this is very clearly a boss fight. This is very clearly a test to see if we actually understand the system. And I think I get it. I think I get it. Okay. Increases evasion. Lowers physical defense, but heals HP every turn. We don't have anything that just increases our magic defense, do we? What about that straw hat? Can we take that now? Can we chat with you? Okay. I don't think there's anything else we can find. I think we've pretty much collected everything we can. Oh! What's that up there? How did I miss that? There's one up there too. Golden coins. Oh, jeez. Well, that would have been handy for the guy that was looking for money. Okay, I have idea. Wait. How do we get up there? If I had to guess, we come in from the top, which means we cannot get to that chest just yet. Okay, so this shield reduces our defense but heals us. I wonder if that will be enough to take on this thing. I was hoping for something that would give us magic resist. Oh. No. Well, yeah, actually, we will save. Let's find out. Maybe just equipping the shield is all we need. Yeah, Fire Brush. It'll only use magic attacks. So, reducing our physical... Oh, yeah. No, that's great. We can hit fairly hard. It'll deal... Ooh, 250 is quite a bit, but healing 99 every turn, we may be able to do enough damage to take this thing out before it finishes us off. Okay, so... I'll reserve my thoughts on this for a second. Nice. Okay, there we go. Large potion, greater essence. Oh, it's tough. I can't believe I was able to bring down such a powerful beast. It had more tails than I could count. These relics are so powerful. The curses they hold still seem pretty dangerous, though. I'll need to be careful about which relics I leave equipped after battles. And maybe I should rest up before I explore further. I agree. Okay, so... yeah, definitely want to put the shield back on. Hey, wait up! Hey, look out. Did you see it? I actually came out on top against that monster. Yeah, your technique was a bit odd, but you kind of just kept smacking it. But I guess it worked. I just wanted to say, you don't look like you know your way around these parts, so be careful. Sure, with the help of relics, you can throw fireballs fly high into the air, or even open a portal to other worlds. Ooh, maybe a way to get home. But there's a cost. Each one of them harbors a dastardly curse, so be sure to think it through and experiment. Wait, did you say one of them could open a portal to another world? That's the one I need! That was not the part you were supposed to focus on. I was just trying to build up to the real point. Look, I know they can be dangerous, but if there's a relic that can open portals to other worlds, then maybe I can open one of mine. I bet that's how I get home. You really aren't from around here, huh? That relic is called the Rod of Travel. Afraid no one's seen it in centuries. Maybe that means it's just deep in a cave like the shield I found. Could be. The relics all got hidden way long ago. Because, say it with me now, they were all cursed, remember? In any case, I'm sure if you keep exploring, you'll end up where you need to be. Well, I'm going to check my crab boxes at the sun-soaked shore, so I better be off. Don't be a stranger, hon. Okay, I like how different characters have different inflections to their voice, like the way that the dialogue is written actually indicates that. Like, that's a nice touch. Rod of Travel. This is so cool. I actually feel like I'm on a real adventure. If I can just keep moving forward, I'll be home in no time. Okay. Okay, I saw Rel, so we will chat with her, but not this time. I think we're gonna call it here. I think this is a good natural break point. We beat a boss. So. Initial thoughts. Haven't really changed since when I first went through that, so I'm not going to really say too much more right now. But there are two things that stand out to me that I really want to highlight, because I really like the concept. Again, haven't played enough to know whether or not the execution is going to really hit the point and nail this properly, but sorry, the music is starting to grate on me just a little bit. It's a little repetitive, so I am going to mute that. I think I did that correctly. Let's see. I can't open an options menu. Oh, no, that's not what I meant to do. Uh-oh. Okay, how do I do this? Oh, no. I didn't mean to do that. There. Okay, hold on. Oh, I like how it goes up by 20% instead of just 1. That's nice. There we go. Okay. Okay. Two concepts that I think have a ton of potential that I would love to see expanded on, and I'm looking forward to see how they take place in this game. And I don't yet know if the execution is going to be nailed or not, but we're going to find out as we keep playing. One, the idea that you don't necessarily get better by grinding up against monsters. I like that. I find that to be a huge drawback of a lot of Final Fantasy games. Is it's like, oh, I'm just not strong enough. Let me just fight 1,000 of these little bombs until I am, 5 levels higher, and now I start ripping through everything, even though I haven't upgraded any of my equipment, learned any new skills, or actually learned anything significant from my encounters. I've just fought a bunch of them, and now I'm better. The idea that every boss and every enemy is almost treated as like a puzzle to be solved, that's kind of cool. The thought of like, okay, maybe you're going to struggle with this encounter, but what do you have that you can equip that will change the way you can play the game for this encounter to solve that battle? That's nice. Now, from a boss perspective, I think that's quite simple to implement. You can have a boss where it's like, okay, this guy's going to slowly drain your health over time, but then, like, he becomes, okay, a good example was this boss here. Only focuses on magical attacks. Well, you have a relic that reduces your physical defense, so the curse isn't really that big of a deal. So you can equip that cursed item to get the benefit, and the penalty isn't going to hurt you, but the benefit will help you win that fight. That's an interesting way to solve the puzzle that is that boss. In standard random encounters, unless you have like a theme for a dungeon, that may not work so well, especially if you cannot see what you're going to fight before you fight it. Now, if you can change your equipment in battle, that could potentially change that. If you end up going through a dungeon and you find yourself fighting a mix of magical or physical enemies, if you have the opportunity of, oh, I'm facing a horde of purely magic users, I'm going to switch to an item that buffs my magic defense but cripples my physical defense. That, if you can do that mid-battle, that would be a great way to do that for, like, during a dungeon. And then switch again when you face, like, a physical enemy. But if you can't switch in battle, and dungeons don't have a theme per se that allows you kind of focus on certain areas more than others, then completely randomized enemies in dungeons and caves and stuff could be tough to navigate from that looking at battles as a puzzle perspective. So I would love to see how well this gets executed. I would also like to see if, I really just want to see more depth. I want to see the full depth of this relics system and how it actually all works. Because if it has as much depth and complexity to it as I'm imagining, just from my initial impressions here, I think that there's some really solid potential. But it's going to be interesting to see how it's executed. Yeah. But yeah, no, I like the idea that you don't necessarily progress by just grinding up against enemies, but instead by outthinking the current situation based on what you have and what you've learned. By trying different things and actually experimenting with different play styles, you can progress further. That's nice, and it prevents players from getting stuck in a, well, I'll just spam attack until I win mentality. Like, it's no, you actually have to think about this. Because here's the thing, if we hadn't used that glass shield, we probably wouldn't have won that fight. Which brings me to my second point that I wanted to highlight, which is that was actually a fairly effective first boss. Because it was a boss that had a specific solution. I get the feeling that if I had just tried to spam attack on that thing with the Driftwood Shield, I would have absolutely died. And had I decided, oh, I'm just going to equip the Rusty Ring because I have it, well, okay, it buffs your evasion, but drains your health. Well, I need to be in good health, and magical attacks don't miss, so having higher evasion would be pointless. The curse and the benefit both don't help for that fight, but the shield, having something that is like, okay, well, it drains my physical defense, who cares, but it restores my health every turn, that's a nice item to equip that actually is useful for that encounter. I get the feeling if I hadn't had the exact loadout I needed, I wouldn't have been able to solve that fight. I wouldn't have been able to get past that boss. And letting the player figure that out for themselves, for one, makes the player feel smart. Even if the answer is fairly obvious, it makes the player feel smart. And for another, it's a good way of teaching the mechanics of the system and forcing the player to engage with them without holding their hand the entire time. At no point was I told, oh, if you want to beat this boss, you have to equip this shield and then mash attack. It was more just, you figure it out. And the game even commented with that character that came to meet us after, it's like, yeah, it just kind of looked like you just flailed wildly at the thing. So it's like, the game knows, like, that's what you did, but the fact that it didn't tell you to do that and let you figure that out, that's good design. And I appreciate that. The only downside I would say to it is that there was only, from what I can see anyway, there was only one solution to that boss. It wasn't like a, well, let me try this. Did that work? Okay, no, but it's close. Let's maybe try something a little bit different. Okay, no, that's closer. Okay, now let's try this one. It wasn't like there was like 3 or 4 different solutions and, it was up to me to figure out what the best one was. It was like there's one solution, and if you don't do this, you're going to lose. Can't say I love that, but it was the first boss. As a tutorial to teach how to engage with the relics system and say, hey, if you don't maximize what you have and make the best of what you have, you're not going to be able to progress. If you don't engage with the relic system and actually pay attention to what you have equipped, you're going to struggle. For a first tutorial boss to teach that concept without blatantly outright explaining it to the player and telling them what to do, I think it actually was very effective. I just really, really hope that future bosses have more than one solution, but also have more fail states than they do solutions. Like, I'd love to see bosses where it's like, well, you could try this, this, or this, and any one of those is really viable. Maybe one is better than the other based on your playstyle or how you think, but if you go with these relics, you're going to have a hard time and you're probably not going to succeed no matter what you do. So, like, having lots of ways of failing, but only a few options of succeeding, but letting the player choose which one they want to engage with the most. Having a variety of solutions, but a limited variety, I think would be really, really good for future bosses. It's forgivable having it just be only one solution for the first boss, because it does force the player to be like, oh, I actually have to think about my choices here. Because, yeah, honestly, that shield, I probably would never equip it for a normal battle, because it's like, yeah, that losing almost all your defense, that sucks. But, hey, it's great to carry around and heal up, and then when you realize, oh, wait, if I fight something that only uses magic attacks, this actually becomes a good thing to equip in battle. It does force the player to think in different ways. And I do appreciate that system. Yeah. So, I am going to keep playing this game. I'm going to keep recording my playthrough of it. I'm just going to play through whatever's available to me. I have no idea how long this is going to go. It could be full 20 hours. It could be like 3. But I'm just going to play through whatever's available. And or until I find something that just makes me rage quit, but I don't think that's going to happen. So far from what I've seen, there's nothing in this game that's like, oh yeah, I'm going to suddenly spike the difficulty on you and blindside you. It looks like a fair amount of work and thought has been put into this, and I suspect that it's going to be a fairly pleasant player experience. So we are going to keep playing this. But my initial rating, I would say, based on first impressions alone, 7 out of 10. Overall. Yeah, I would say the concept of the gameplay mechanics is a solid 9.5 out of 10, if not a 10 out of 10. Like the idea of like, oh, you're gonna find just random stuff that you don't know what it does, but if you explore the world and actually interact with things, you can learn what it does, and that will allow you to progress and solve certain circumstances. It takes a combat-focused RPG and turns it into a puzzle without feeling like a puzzle, and it doesn't hold your hand. 10 out of 10. Love that. The characters, 5 out of 10. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't dislike any of the characters right now, but they are a little cliche. I mean, again, I haven't really played enough to really get to know anybody, so I'm gonna reserve final judgment on that, but like right now, I'm not really super attached to anybody, and I'm not really fully gripped or engaged with anything, but it looks like there's quite a bit of different depth to the characters, and there looks like there's some different personalities and archetypes. There's some different backstories, and I am interested to learn. Honestly, you know who I want to learn about the most is the dude that we gave 300 Aurum to. He looks like he's got a bit of a more rugged personality, but I kind of want to come across that guy again. And Rel, because she's cute. Maybe 6 out of 10 for the characters. And that number will probably go up as we keep playing. Story is a little thin right now, but again, we just started, so can't really say much about it. But the idea of like, okay, yep, you're an otaku who got isekai'd into an RPG world and you're trying to get home. Nothing wrong with that premise. If it's executed well, that's a solid premise. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The motivation is clear. I don't have to know anything about the world that I'm in, or any backstory or history or politics or anything like that. All I need to know is I'm an otaku in a world I've never been in and I'm trying to get home. Great. Okay, I've got a driving force to push me forward. I can't give a rating on that. Like you have to. We're gonna have to see about the execution before I can really weigh in on the story. But this is just a first impression thing. Music, I'll say. I'm not gonna give a rating on the music because personal opinion about whether or not the music is good or bad is personal taste. Some of the songs are a little repetitive for my tastes, and it's a little bit jarring going from gentle, peaceful music to loud, bombastic battle music. But again, personal preference. It's consistent, and it's fitting, and that's important. I would rather have music that I don't necessarily enjoy but is consistent and fits the theme than music that is absolutely fantastic and beautiful and I love every bit of it, but it doesn't fit at all and all the songs are completely inconsistent and not in any way matching each other. So, good choice of music, good consistency. Great. And then artwork and mapping and all that stuff. I'm not even going to weigh in on it because this game is still in development. I know some things are going to be placeholder, so I'm not even going to weigh in on that. So yeah, I would say solid 7 out of 10 first impression, which is good for a first impression. There are some really incredible games that I've played that, after giving the full playthrough are like, oh yeah, this is like a solid 8 out of 10 game, and it's a 0 out of 10 first impression. Like, absolutely no. If all I saw was the first 10 minutes and that's what I had to judge the game on, I would not want to keep playing. Like, there's games I played, I'm not going to say what they are because I don't want to call attention to them, but there are some really good games that are 0 out of 10 first impression. This is good. I am not in any way disappointed, and I'm excited to jump back into this and play it again soon. So yeah, we'll probably jump in again probably in the next day or so and resume this. But I think this has been a good start. I'm eager to see where this goes. I'm still kind of reserving judgment, and there's things that I'm not going to judge the game on at all because of two reasons. One, it is still in development, and two, it is not being sold. The moment there's a price tag on this game, or the moment that it's a full release, my judgment may change. But for the time being, it's in development. Things are bound to change, and you don't have to pay anything to play this. So it's my decisions and judgments and ratings are going to be based on that. So based on everything I've seen so far, yeah, I like it. I want to keep playing. But that's going to be all we do today. So we'll come back to this again soon. Feel free to check out the game yourself if you like. The link will be down in the description. And I will see you next time. So have a good day. Bye-bye.